Hello, my fellow monosodium glutamates. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're going to be building next to Vault 76. That's right here on the map, in case you don't know. Yeah, and like I can see the little hill. So we're basically out behind it. There's a pre-existing shack here. It looks beautiful, almost as good as your own house looks. There's these stupid mattresses and I don't know, just tent and stuff. This garbage hole. I don't know. Well, I'm going to be using this area to kind of accentuate what we are going to be building, which is, of course, a shack, because why would I build something nice? There's a lot of cool garbagey things that I want to build. I've been getting a lot of inspiration from the things in my own life, and so that means we're just going to build complete trash, okay? So what we're going to be doing here is building a little shack. These two pieces here, we're going to shove all the way back so that the back two are kind of mushed into the ground. And then we're going to get rid of these two pieces here for absolutely no reason. You'll have to put them back in later when I remember that I actually want them there after all. Sometimes I'm going to be building with different wall pieces that I'll actually end up using later, and that's because, as you can see, it's all scrambled up. What the fuck is that? Do they think that we want to play this kind of a mini game? Oh, where's Waldo? It's hunt for your stupid fucking wall you want. Now put these back like I said you would have to, because I didn't have to remove them to begin with. These two, you're going to switch to doorways so that you can remove the two, temporarily remove them. You can store them, or if you're a fucking idiot, you can pick them up and put them off to the side because you forgot there was a store option in the game for such a time as this. Place two catwalks, a half and a quarter, which will allow you to snap a doorway to that. You don't have to use a doorway, but I did, and in fact, I would appreciate it if you got off my back about it. Sometimes I make choices, and I don't want you looking over my shoulder while I do it. Place the floors back in however you can. Try to get it so they're lined up. I use the striped ones when I'm building foundations always because I can line them up easier and I can replace them to be... Fuck. Now, when I'm placing the roofs, of course, you will have to place these slant roofs on the top first, because if you place them on the bottom first, it won't let you place the slant ones above them because they're intersecting with roof, right? So place the top ones and then place the bottom ones. Which means I'm going to use two glass pieces on the bottom area, and then I'm going to have the rusty metal for the top area. This will go in. Sometimes you have to turn sideways, do some ancient recitation, if you will, to get it to work. Now I'm going to use this beautiful, rotten, abandoned mine roof, and I want to stick some half walls in there, but I can't. So I'm going to flatten these down. Flatten them down, sit on them like you've seen a Big Mac, when you know how it looks in the commercial and then you actually get it and the manager has sat on it. That's how you want these roofs to be. Place these half walls like this. Then you could pick this back up. And I'm actually going to turn those half walls to shack later, or the abandoned mindset. But for now, we'll do it this way. And I'll have you know that this is all beautiful and glorious. Now for the most fun part in the world. See how these brambles can only be placed on the dirt? But I actually want to place them on the roof. Like they're kind of overgrown. Sometimes you might have seen some, eco-modern with grass on the roofs, or you might just seen an overgrown shack with grass on the roofs. You can't place these, except now we can, because Hop Along Tom in my Discord found this method for being able to place certain things that can only be placed in the dirt inside of a mine cart planter. Or there's a couple other planters you can use. Now this is applications. Hop Along Tom did it so that they could place the water well somewhere in their camp, but I thought if this works with brambles, we'll be able to move brambles around and get them to be somewhere else than just in the dirt. So we're going to go under the map using this classic method, which is pretty simple. If you have to rewind and look back, then that's on you. Place two brambles above ground. I'm going to kind of spin them so they're not really looking that bad. You can spread them out more than this. Now I'm going to take this minecart planter. I did try the tub planter, but it was too small. The minecart one works better, and that's just for the brambles. I think you can get other stuff to fit inside the tub, but the brambles are too fat. And then I'm going to stack these up, and they're a little bit too high. You want it to be so that there's a planter that's about level with the surface of the earth when it's all said and done. So I sunk these down so that when I go above ground, the top of the minecart planter is level with the ground. You may even see some of it sticking out. And then you're going to make a blueprint of that. So you're going to blueprint the thing, jump up here, and then you can blueprint these two brambles. And I'm going to name it something creative like 1, and then I'll be able to find it. Now you can take this blueprint, and you can place this down, and this will allow us to manipulate the brambles and put them where we want them, which is going to be on top of the roof. Now for the most fun you've ever had, besides that one time when you ate glass. Remember when you spilled vinegar in your eye? It's kind of going to be like that, maybe not quite as fun. So basically what we want to do is float the brambles up here, and then hide the thing that is supporting the brambles. So we want to hide the planter, and we want to float the bramble far above the planter. So we're going to use this reverse merge, where you can place this thing down on top of your camp module, and the bottom item will drop down. Now, for some reason, we in the community who have named things have not named this the drop merge, even though this is technically drop merging. We're dropping the bottom item down. That's confusing, but don't worry about it, because I'm just gonna, don't worry about it. Now I'm gonna put a little measuring system over here, so that I can tell where to start with the first bramble. And so that when I place this down next to it, the bramble is kind of level with where that roof would be. Using this ability, I can then know where to start on our Bramble Joy. Now, unfortunately, you can only place 6 planters in your camp, which means I had to only use 6 planters, which means I'm going to use 3 planters on each side for just the rusty part of the roof, and it's going to be glorious and fun. Now, I like trying to find new ways to invigorate myself. Sometimes I stick a fork in electric sockets to see what'll happen, and today we're also going to be doing this, because I don't know what could possibly go wrong. How could this be any sort of desperate fun? So basically what you want to do is we're getting it so that when I place this up next to this, like this, the brambles form a slanting shape that will follow the roof line. So that's too high now. That's too high. If you go too high, you can do the regular merge with a pressure plate, which will sink that back down. You can kind of use it as a back button if you go too far. For some reason, we call that drop merging, even though that is actually pushing the bottom item up. So don't worry about that. If you place that next to the foundation, you can, of course, then place it down on top of it. And we're going to use a wall to measure it. This is our ruler. As you can see, that one is too high still. So we're going to do more, I guess, what we call drop merging, even though that's not, we're not dropping it. We're pushing it up. Unfortunately, it's too late to change the name of it, because it's just, that's what we call it now, but it's backwards. And I'm going to stress that because a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense if you think about it in the terms of drop merging, because you're not dropping anything. You have to think about it differently. With a confusing name like that, it makes it hard to figure out what you're actually doing. So in this situation, the reason why we're getting these brambles to be exactly how we want them to be is when we merge this down so that the planters are even with each other, it's not going to move the bramble because we're not dropping anything. We're not dropping this planter down. We're pushing the bottom planter up, and nothing else is going to change in relation to each other. So that's why I don't like that we call it the drop merge, because we're not drop merging. We're pushing this up into what we already have. So these are level now, and the brambles, importantly, are exactly the way they were before, and they're at the exact height that we need them to be. And the reason why we need them to be lower than the foundation is they're going to hide the planter inside the foundation. So that is why we're doing that. And because we love ourselves so much, we're going to do this a third time. And yes, we're going to have 3 of these on each side. For those of you who are angry that I'm using a glitch in this game to build, if you want to call it glitching, that's fine. I prefer to use the word a unique tip and trick that you can use. I want to point out the fact that you can't actually plant plants in the planters. They're broken. You can't plant anything in the planters, okay? You know, the planter that you bought with real money to put plants in, you can't use it the way that you can't use it. It's unusable. So forgive me. Forgive me if I'm getting utility out of an item that I purchased that doesn't work. Now, if you come in here, very important, pick out the flooring you want right now, because you will not be able to change the flooring after the planters are in the foundations. It will not let you replace. You don't have to worry about the back 2 foundations, but the front 2, make sure you get them to be the flooring you want. I'm going to switch these to the army base walls and burn them. You can also use the brick walls. This is just to remove as much collision as possible in the surrounding area. Now you're also going to want to come up here, and you're going to want to flatten these back down to how they were so that the brambles don't intersect with it. And for good measure, you're also going to burn these 2 half walls up here. And I'm not sure what's more laughable, that I decided to make this build, or that I'm presenting it as if it's a tutorial that someone will be stupid enough to want to follow. You know what I mean? So like, let's just keep that farce going. So now you're going to pick this up and drop merge. See, we're not drop merging. We're not dropping anything. We're pushing the bottom one up into the pile that we already have. And if you go too far like this, you can go over here and then actually drop merge with the reverse merge and find the one you want. Now we're going to come in here. You're going to pick up the frontmost. Do not rotate. Keep it the same orientation that you had. And oh yeah, you're going to want to make sure these are doorways so that you can actually remove them. Otherwise, it'll say that you can't pick it up because, you know, then the wall will be floating. We wouldn't want that. God, please help there not be any floating walls in this world. That would be horrifying. Wouldn't it be cool if we could just, like, build stuff? Like, I had to get a doctorate degree just to be able to build a shack. A 2x2 shack. Okay? Like, I literally... I don't know what to say anymore. Okay? Measure this front to back by kind of hovering a wall here. We want to make sure the brambles are not like too far forward or too far back. And now pick up a floor, put it over here. And now we're going to use a different kind of merge, which is the foundation merge. If you're having trouble with any of these merges that I'm doing in this video, see Nuka Violet's merge tutorial video. And it will go over everything in great detail, even though she perpetuates the fact that they're called drop merging when we're not dropping anything. Don't worry about that. I'm sure she was just kidding around when she did that. And also don't watch any of my other videos where I also call it drop merging, because then it'll ruin this kind of, you know how I'm being sanctimonious about it? Well, that's going to ruin it if you go and see that I also called it that, because if I'm the one that's saying we shouldn't do it, then I shouldn't certainly have done it. Now drop this down until it's just underneath the floor. You can actually have some of the dirt showing if you want. I kind of wish I did, because it adds to that dirty shack floor vibe. But I didn't do that, unfortunately. Hate everything. Now, as you can see, if we try to put this back in, the minecart's sticking out the back, so it will not go in. It's intersecting with that back foundation. See how much that's sticking out? It's a massive amount. So you're going to want to come in here, pick this up, move it out, and then now we should be able to put it back in. And then make sure it's rotated the right way. And then you might be able to put the floor back in. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And if you can't, make sure you have some of the front planter sticking out a little bit. But that looks really good. I think that's working really well. And I think that was well worth 5 days of straight up of joy, you know? You guys ever wonder why it takes me so long to put out videos? Just take a passing glance at what we've done here and start crying, because you have to have some empathy. You have to understand, okay? Do you understand? Therapy isn't cheap, okay? And so I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. Now, we're going to do this side, and I'm going to move this one out right now. Now, when you're putting these planters on, you want to make sure that they're not overlapping on the inner wall, because they will, you know, you need these two to be next to each other and touching. And you also want to make sure that they're both lined up with each other, so the brambles aren't like one's forward more than the other. And you also want to have just a tiny bit of the front planter sticking out of the foundation. That's really important, and I'll show you in a minute why. But what you're going to do is, again, reverse merge. Sometimes you may find that it's a little difficult because there's pieces of the thing sticking out like this. But foundations have a massive hitbox. Take a week and a half if you need to merge this down. Now, this is where things get a little dicey, because I was able to get this in where I wanted it, and when I go to snap this back in, it says, absolutely not. No, no, no. You can't go there. There's something sticking out. Even though there's way less sticking out this time than the other time, it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to at all. It hates you so much. So, because we have it sticking out the front a little bit, we can actually burn the minecart that's in there. And because it's the forward-most minecart, it is also the bottom-most minecart, which means the other minecarts are sitting on this one. Which means when we burn this one, the other two disappear fully. There's no collision, there's no hitbox. They're gone. So then we can take this and put it back in. That'll be beautiful. That's great and glorious. And while that's burned, I'm going to go ahead and put some underpinnings on the front here, and I'm going to use these army base ones, because the army base ones are going to allow me to do something magnificent which you've never seen before in your life. And that is, oh god, fuck. Now, you might not be able to if it's too low to the ground, but you know what to do. You guys know what to do. You've seen it all. Just go down here, simple as that. Just a couple of 20 minutes, and you should be able to put one half wall in. Okay? This is why I never feel like we should call these glitches when we are doing things to be able to place something down that should be able to be placed in the first place. But because these are different, you can burn them, and they have a separate collision type, which will allow you to snap these special wooden stairs in. Usually you're not allowed to when you have an underpinning there, but these ones do let you. But replace these with the abandoned mine shack thing, which is amazing. It adds a nice scrappiness to it and covers up the side of the foundation. Now let's do a couple of cool little decoration things. So I'm going to make a pile of straw in the corner that I can sleep on. So I'm going to hide this sleeping bag in this hay bale so you can't see it at all. I'm going to make sure it still works. Because I need it to actually be functional, or there's no point of even putting it down there, you know what I mean? So that's going to be good. Yummy. Now come in here, and I'm not going to use that one because it hates being down, so I'm going to use this back corner one. Pick it up, bring it out. If you click on something and it turns red, that means you won't be able to put it back in. If it turns green, that means you most likely will be able to place it back in. So keep it oriented the way it was. Don't rotate it. Don't mess around. This is no time for clown show games. I'm going to have it slightly at an angle here, and that's going to really be glorious for a lot of different reasons. But basically, this is going to be something magnificent in the corner of our glorious little area. Once again, we're going to be doing the foundation merge that we've done a bunch of times. Again, you have to be out of free cam mode, stand next to this, pick it up till it turns green, and then you should be able to push it down. You can use the scroll wheel if you're on the mouse and keyboard, or you can hold the bumper and the build button, or L1R1 while you hold X, and it'll go up and down without you having to move the joystick. That's a good way to slide it up and down. Now, of course, it's intersecting because it's intersecting with the walls, because why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be intersecting? So I'm just going to burn this entire corner of the house, and then it should go in after that. If it doesn't, I'm going to delete the game. All right, that's good. And now, just repair all. Everything's going to be fine. But while you're at it, before you, after you repair all, or in that situation, make sure you just burn these two roofs up here. Anytime you're decorating a house with a half wall in height, just burn those roofs, and you'll be able to decorate in there a lot easier. If you don't burn them, everything you place is going to pop up through the roof. Now I'm going to make something a little funny, a little cute. I'm going to make a clothesline with shit on it. I've done this before, but not with this method. This one makes it a lot easier. Place down these blinds, and with the blinds placed, you should be able to snap a wall to the blinds. It's a special treat. I did make a video on this. If you want to check it out, the link for that will be in the description. Of course, I'm showing exactly how it's done here, so you shouldn't have to worry too much. You can remove the blinds, change it to a doorway, and then we're going to try to snap the curtain to it, but of course it doesn't want to because there's no floor underneath it. Why would you be able to place a door with no floor? That's so stupid of you to think that. Why would you do that? So put a floor in. You should be able to in this situation alone. Then snap the door there. That's going to be good. And then once you have that door there, switch this to a normal wall, and then you can delete it. Then you're going to take this, and we're going to use a special treat. Now, this trick is actually all the way from Fallout 4. It's the same concept that Jug uses with mats and conduits. But basically, if you have a wire attached to something that's on something else, if you move the conduit's on, and place it down, after that, you can pick it up and move it around wherever you want, and the wire doesn't break. Also, I noticed while I was building this that there's something weird that they changed, where when you pick up something that's a stack, the stuff in the stack doesn't ghost. It stays a solid object, so it looks really confusing. Look, that conduit's fully there. It's not a ghost item. So it's really, really bad. I hate it. It's really bad to work with. But that looks really cute, I think. Looks pretty good. Over here is a good example of that. So what I did was I drop merged that car down onto the forklift slightly so that it was in the right position. And now I want to sink the forklift down onto something so that I can get it into the ground a little bit, because if I place it on the side of a hill, it's going to be floating in a way that I just don't want. It will make me feel sad. So look right there. Did you see that? I picked it. Watch this. I'm going to pick up that thing. I actually thought that it wasn't on it because it was doing that. Look, it's a solid object. That shit should be ghosting so that you can tell that you have it select. I can't. Every day it's something new. Every day it's something special and sweet. But we love it so much. We love it so much. Now, I will say that I am excited about the fact that they added new rewards to Fakanackle, or whatever you call it. That's great. They didn't at all last year, and I thought maybe they had forgotten that they were supposed to be working on the game still, because you know how they all got fired. Well, now they're, adding some special things, glowing ones. That's good. Glowing mask. Let's look at the finished product and stop bitching about the game. Now, I've really, really enjoyed building this. I did. I liked the challenge of it, and I liked decorating it, and I really liked how it turned out. Now, for that front there, I used the rustic wall and then burned it, and it creates this really cool boxed-in look. Like, it looks like a big shattered window hole, and I think that really, really looks good there. And again, the door that I'm using there probably really doesn't match. It's a little too clean. but I got it from the Atom Shop, and so I wanted to use it because it was a new thing. But it's really good when you're building to try to keep things small. You can really lose the focal point of what you're trying to build when you try to go too big with it. Size isn't always the most important thing. Sometimes it's about the quality of what you're doing. And details are important, and if you have too much shit going on, the details get lost. I really, really like how this looks, though. I think it looks really good, looks really overgrown. I hate to say it, but I was actually going to put the brambles all the way down on the roof, but I realized we could only use 6 planters, so then I had to do that, which is good that happened, because I would have really lost my mind if I had tried to do that all the way down. Now you can actually see there's a lot of like all the junk back here, because I didn't add to it very much. It just kind of accentuates what I have going on here. It makes it kind of scrappy looking and good instead of terrible. But I did add the wires, and I did add that windmill thing, and I did add some of those barrels back there. And I think instead of taking away from what I built or taking away from what's already here, I made something that can complement each other. Now, I might add some stuff into the shack later. I like it. I included it in the build zone just in case. I might make it into a still or something, but to be completely honest with you, this character hasn't done Biv's quest, so I can't. But I'm going to do that probably soon. But in the meantime, I didn't want to crowd out what's already here, because what makes this stuff cool is that it looks abandoned and overgrown. And if you build too much shit, it's really easy to get away from that. So I wanted to make something small that fits in, but that also has this vibe to it. A lot of stuff bulldozes the grass around it, unfortunately, and it's really horrific. You can see that bulldozed grass around this whole building. So I use these brambles to shove that in there. I wish there was more grass variants that we had. Unfortunately, they did just add those bushes, and they put them in a fucking bundle of other unrelated things, so I didn't get them because, you know, obviously, in my opinion, fuck them for doing that. Just gently, with respect. I really like how this looks. There is a little bit of a gap in the middle of the brambles. There is a way where you could get the brambles a little bit closer than I got them. Like if you put the brambles closer to one side of your minecart, then you won't have a massive gap between the two brambles, but you'll be able to put them closer together in the middle by like rotating them so that side's facing each other. I don't know if the words I'm saying make any sense, but I really, really like how this looked. I use that Helvetia fence that I keep forgetting I have because it's in the defensive area for some reason. Going inside, I use this Iron Mountain anvil thing just for the door. I love this door. It's a little too clean for this build, to be honest. You'd probably be better using that faded painted white one or the wooden shack door. That would go with this a lot better, I think, but I like it. Honestly, I didn't do too bad. Like, the brambles are coming through a little bit, but it just looks like it would. Like, the roots are coming through the ceiling, which is perfect in my opinion. Over here in the corner, I think that it looks pretty good. I used the new piece of wall thing that's from the scoreboard to make like a hole in the wall kind of look, because you can snap the vine to the wall and then replace it to this, which is pretty cool. I love how open it is without broken. The sun really comes in and shines down on your day like it always has. What a glorious, beautiful bastard you are. And this world is your oyster. So why don't you go lick it or something and slurp it down, don't chew on it. And the 76 box makes sense to me because we're right next to the vault. We're literally right here. So if there would be a place on the map where there would be a box with those suits in it, why not next to the vault? You know? So I have some broken bits here, like we're working on the workbench, and then we are sleeping in this corner here on this pile of hay. This is one of my favorite details that I added to this build. It really just adds something different, adds something new, and it makes it kind of cozy in here, you know? It makes it look like this place is abandoned and I'm just sleeping in it. I'm not really living here long term. I'm in here. There's some stuff that I'm using the workshop with, and it all has that kind of old Appalachian vibe that I was going for. I love how there's that big tree framed out the front window hole, if you want to call it that. And I love how you can switch these roofs so there's like little pieces that are open and little pieces that are closed. I think it's really good with the glass walls because it's like pretty open in here, even though it's a very small space. Using a lot of different like random stuff, like the chairs are different, they're broken. Think about details when you're decorating because you want to think about like what would it be like here? Would you have a matching set of chairs? Probably not. Like I just found whatever, you know, laying around. You can just jump out the front window, but the bottom of this does have collisions. You don't just accidentally walk through it. But I really, really love how this turned out. I'm really proud of it, and I know it's kind of small, but it is the important thing when you're making rundown immersive shacks is to keep it small. You don't want to go overboard with it because sometimes less is more because, you know, we're trying to make it look like a small little shack in the woods. You know, we're not making a mansion. I also really like how this turned out looking. I put the conduits right on these posts, and because they're kind of crooked, it really looks like I strung the wires up after the fact, which I really like how that looks. It's very simple, but it's also very, like, it doesn't look like someone just made a rat's nest in their camp of wires, which I think is hard to avoid when you're wiring things up. I really, really enjoyed this a lot. It was a lot of fun. Scrappy builds are kind of my favorite thing, and I haven't done one in a while, so I was really happy to do this. A couple of things I wanted to mention before I end the video is I have been streaming over on Twitch as well as on YouTube now. On Mondays and Fridays currently is my schedule, but that might change. And we're doing on Mondays a permadeath run on Fallout 76, so if I die I have to restart my character, and that's been super fun. And then on Fridays we're just doing whatever, hanging out. It's been a lot of fun, so come and hang out for that. If you turn your bell icon on, it's supposed to notify you when I go live, but half the time it doesn't, so don't worry about that. I'm not the CEO of YouTube, so like you can get off my back about that personally. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members for your support. It really does mean a lot to me, and it really helps support the channel as I have more time to work on these videos and do fun things that I love doing and sharing these things with you. Join the Discord if you're not in the Discord already. It's a great place, and you will also see when I go live, when I'm streaming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.